This is the plaintiff, June Horn. He says he rented a place from the defendant, and after living there for only 2 months, he was robbed. 2 guys broke in while he was there, shot him in the face, and after he got out of the hospital, he told the plaintiff he was moving out because it was unsafe. The defendant refuses to give him back his money, and that's why he's suing him here and now for every penny of the $3,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Jamil Hafiza. He says there was never a home invasion in the area since he owned the property, starting in 2010, and he was just as shocked as anyone when he heard about it. These guys were waiting for the plaintiff to exit the house, and they jumped him. He thinks there was a connection there, and it wasn't a random act of violence. Bottom line, the plaintiff left him high and dry. He wasn't able to rent the place out immediately, and if anyone is owed, it's him. He's accused of renting in a dangerous neighborhood. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,302.52 for rent, new locks, and advertising.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, crazy case. The plaintiff rented from the defendant 2 months into the lease. Somebody broke into the house, into the apartment, shot the guy in the face, and now he wants to get out of there and wants his money back. But the defendant says, bull, it was not a random act of violence. It's the case of gunning for justice.
June Horn?
Yes.
You are suing Jamil Hafiza for $3,000 that you say he owes you in security deposit, rent rebate, and pain and suffering. You are counterclaiming against him $1,300 and some change for rent he didn't pay and the cost of re-renting the place because, according to you, he breached the tenancy. All right, Mr. Horn, let's start with you.
Well, I moved in January 1st, and it was an ad on Craigslist, so that's how I got in contact with him. It was an apartment, and it was in a house. And then
An apartment in a house?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a house, and it was separated into like 3, and then my apartment was in the back. It was $650 a month. It was a $995 deposit. I ended up getting shot because.
Wait, what?
I ended up getting shot. It was like a home invasion.
When?
It was February 15th.
What happened?
I was on my way out, on my way to work, and when I opened my door, there was 2 guys standing in front of my door.
Did they knock?
No, they were just standing there.
You open up the door and there's 2 guys standing there?
Yeah.
Who were they?
I don't know. They were masked up.
And what happened?
They forced their way up. We were in the kitchen, and we were fighting, and then next thing you know.
What were they saying?
They didn't say anything.
They forced their way in, you were in the kitchen, and what was happening in the kitchen?
I was fighting both of the guys, and then one of them pulled out a gun and shot me right in my face.
And then what happened?
Well, I was knocked out for like a good 20 minutes, so when I woke up, I just called 911.
They were gone?
Yeah, they were gone.
Had they taken anything?
No.
Did you know these guys?
No, I didn't.
Do you know who sent them?
No, I just figured that, well, around the area, there was a lot of like home break-ins, so I'm guessing they just thought my apartment was like the back of the house.
Except for that they didn't take anything?
No. Because.
Nothing?
No, because when they shot me, the bullet knocked me out, so I guess they probably got scared. They thought they killed me.
Where did the bullet hit you?
It grazed my nose, and it went through my upper lip, and it knocked out 3 of my teeth and broke my jaw and got stuck on my lower neck.
Good Lord. And then, so you went to the hospital?
I went to the hospital. I was in the hospital for a week.
And they took the bullet out?
Yeah, as much as they could. I still have fragments in my face, and I had to get a metal plate on my jaw.
Okay. Why am I here? What does this have to do with your landlord? I mean, it sounds awful, and I'm sorry that you went through this, but what?
Because when I had to move, because it was an unsafe environment, because they put my address online, they put my name.
Who's they?
It was the news, Carrier Post, Philadelphia.com. It was a lot of them. And so I felt as though I had to move because it was unsafe. People were coming up to my house.
I don't question you moving. I question what he did that makes you feel that he needs to pay you something.
I feel as though he needed to pay me the deposit back because I had no choice but to leave. And he was saying he wasn't entitled to giving me my deposit back because I was leaving on my own.
Right. Okay. You know, there's a world where the best thing for you to do is leave, but somebody else doesn't have to pay for you to leave, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think that's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, do you have any evidence that these shooters had something to do with him?
I don't, but I do have a situation where I know one of the detectives in town. I've been living in the town since I was a kid. And this is where I started my business in town. And one of the detectives is a friend of mine. And he said, this is very unusual for this to happen and, the suspect not know the person or the perpetrator.
Is this a high crime neighborhood or no?
No, it's not. It's a very quiet neighborhood, and there's never been anything like this. So I was just as surprised as he was.
Are there any police reports that got generated as a result of this?
I don't know. I couldn't get much
I have
involved
a
with
police
it.
report.
Let me see. How much of a security deposit of his do you have?
It was $975 that the security deposit was.
Not $995?
No, not $995.
Do you have the lease?
I do.
Do you have the lease?
I didn't bring it.
How do you know it was $995? Where'd you get your figures? Going by memory?
I thought I remembered it well.
Okay, let me see the lease.
It's always a month and a half deposit.
Yeah,
So
I figured, but let me see the lease anyway.
also the meters that are separated out.
Yeah, and you're talking about the meters because one of the things you're suing for is $780 for an electric bill for March. How did you have a $780 electric bill for March?
I have no idea, but I have it right here. It says $780.
Is that the bill that came in March?
This is the bill that came in April.
In April for March. Now,
Yeah.
you were in the hospital the 2 weeks in February.
I was in the hospital for a week in February, and I moved out 2 days after I got the hospital.
When did you tell him you were moving out?
I told him the same day we met up at McDonald's.
Did he say to you, I'm keeping your security deposit, and that's how you got a $700 electric bill because you probably left everything running there
No,
out of
that's-
anger?
listen, that
Not
was
you,
never-
him. That's how you got a $700 electric bill because you're angry that he won't return your security deposit, so you turned everything on. But the bill's in your name.
Well,
It's in the lease as well that the gas and electric is a responsibility of the tenant.
What was your bill for February and January? Did you go through there and turn everything on?
no, actually, it's actually like a little. It's not a big of apartment for that to be that high.
But how exactly? There's only one way I know of.
Yeah.
I have been around the block many a time. I have a lot of mileage on me. The only time.
Don't say that.
Don't say that?
So if there is a home invasion, are you allowed to break the lease and get the heck out and get your money back?
I say yes, you are.
Well, it's not the landlord's fault.
Oh yeah, but it wasn't your fault that you got assaulted.
That's a true statement, but the landlord didn't do anything to cause that.
Yeah, I don't think you can get out of your lease. You have to do it legally and you have to go through all the proper channels before that can happen.
Fair enough, you're going to be the tiebreaker.
It's up to the discretion of the landlord. I've done it.
So the landlord's never going to give your money back. You know that, right?
They let me get out of it, yes. They
Okay, you're the only one going inside the courtroom.
Now, actually, look at this. Do you have the February and the January bill?
No, that was the only.
No, I know, but see, this is talking about a prior balance. The March bill is only $46 for gas and $28 for electric. The $705 is the balance from the prior bill.
The prior
Right.
bill.
So if you don't have a $780 bill in March, you have probably many months of a bill.
Yeah.
And how do I know this bill didn't also carry from your last place? I need to see your bills.
No, that was the only one I had. That's the only one I had. I only stayed there for a month.
No, he stayed January and February. He left the end of February. So he was
Okay.
there in February as well. He did play
All right,
February
you're
as
also
well.
suing for half a month of February back on the same theory and pain and suffering. Well, how did he cause you pain and suffering? What did he do wrong?
Because he wouldn't give me back my security deposit.
Oh, okay. All right, now. See, you gotta, I agree with you that the best thing for you to do is leave that place because it looks like those guys knew exactly who you were and were in there trying to get something. I don't know what something they were trying to get, but I can't help but notice that the police report you gave me says as follows, that there was some marijuana pipe and the smell of marijuana coming from the closet.
Oh, that's where I used to smoke at. But
Okay.
that wasn't. I ain't have anything.
You used to go to the closet, close the door, and smoke in there?
Yeah, because I didn't want the whole.
Wait, I'm sorry.
There's no
Smoke
smoking
in
in
there?
the unit as well.
Yeah, I didn't want the whole apartment smelling like that. So that's why I used to smoke.
There's no
but
smoking in the apartment,
It was.
especially
Yeah,
marijuana.
It was not. It was.
Okay, now you're suing. When did you re-rent the place?
We rented in April.
In April.
Yes.
Okay.
So March went unrented.
So March went unrented, that's $650.
Yes.
Okay. But you've kept $975.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
And so according to you, it costs $32.07 to replace the locks, $90 to re-advertise the apartment. Wait, you're suing him for $500 for additional lighting?
well, he caused an issue.
He caused what?
Well, if he knew these people, or maybe
If
didn't,
he knew, which neither you nor I know that
I
he
don't
knew.
know. But
Okay.
I wanted to add additional security just in case.
Yes, and sometimes in life we do things because they're the right thing to do,
Right.
but we can't pass the bill to another guy.
I understand.
Well, you don't because you counterclaim for it,
yeah.
But you think I'm going to make him pay for $500 for additional lighting? All right, and then cleaning supplies.
Approximately $30.
Okay, show me the receipts for the other things that you're suing for, meaning the ad, the locks, and why cleaning supplies?
Well, I have to clean up after he leaves, you know?
Okay, he didn't clean up?
No.
Did you clean up?
There was nothing in there but a futon and a shelf.
And some blood?
Blood everywhere.
And blood everywhere?
It wasn't everywhere. It was just in the kitchen floor.
Just a neat little thing of blood.
Yeah, a little bit.
Dude, how are you alive? I mean, did you have an out-of-body experience after this happened and say to yourself?
Well, tell you the truth, no, not really.
I mean, no matter what, if this was a random home invasion or whatever else, you could have been so dead.
I
Just a
know.
little angle different. Just leaning over a little more. If your muscles had contracted a little more, we wouldn't be talking.
I know.
No, you have to thank God for every day that you're on this earth.
I do.
Okay. Okay, for you to be able to recoup the electric bills, you would have to be able to prove to me that there was something wrong with the place. You're giving me an electric bill that says that's $780, that says that you have a prior balance of $705. You don't have any other electric bills to show me.
No, that was the last one I received.
Well, you clearly didn't pay the prior month, so I don't know whether you also didn't pay the prior month before that.
I kept trying to go out. Like, I stopped by there to keep getting my mail, but for some reason my mail wasn't coming.
Well, you
there.
could have called PSE&G.
I advised, I told him several times to do that.
Yeah, everybody else figures out how to bring me the electric bills, my friend. All right. Your damages are 1 month's rent because you were able to, in fact, re-rent the place. Why does he have to pay you for the locks?
He never gave me back the key.
Oh, he didn't give you back the keys?
No, he did not.
You never gave him back the keys?
I wasn't allowed to go back over there.
All right. From the security deposit, I find that you are able to deduct the $650 for the rent for the month of March, the locks, because he didn't return the keys, and the newspaper advertisement and the cleaning supplies. That means that there still is some security deposit left over that belongs to you, and that would be the $172.48. As for pain and suffering, him returning February rent because you ended up hospitalized, just because something bad happens to us doesn't mean somebody else has to pay for it. You have to be able to prove there's something he did wrong. For example, he had a flimsy lock on the door, and because of his flimsy security system, people were able to get in and harm you. That would be a way that you could pin it on your landlord. Otherwise, it's just a bad thing that happened to you that has nothing to do with him.
Why would I have to pay for March?
Because you have to give notice. If I find that you don't have the right to leave, then you are in breach, because I find that you chose to leave, but he didn't breach anything that would force you to leave. Okay, that's my verdict, $172.48, verdict for the plaintiff.
Well, the landlord got to keep some of that security deposit, but not all of it. What's your feeling on this?
Well, I think it's fair. I did try and get in contact with him. I didn't have his information address, so whatever he's owed. But to sue me for $3,000 is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Can you believe what he had to go through in that property of yours there?
I don't know.
Imagine that.
I have no idea. I mean, that's beyond my expertise. I'm just a landlord. Things happen in life. I shouldn't be held responsible for it.
Yeah. All right. Around the corner, your documents are there. And so let's hear from the plaintiff here coming on out. It's amazing that you're even here, actually. I mean, how are you feeling about things?
I mean, everything happens for a reason, so I'm really not stressing about it. I mean, I'm still here. I still got a lot of stuff to do.
Your attitude's amazing, that you're so cool about what took place.
Well, what can you do about it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's life.
All right, so you moved out, and so how about the place you're living now? You feel calmer and safer?
Yeah, the place I live around is the best for me.
Okay. All right, good luck.
All right, thank
All right, Harvey?
If the landlord makes this place a trap for criminals, then that's one thing. But here, the landlord's not responsible for every act of violence or crime.